Okay, section 12.5, problem solving with normal distribution. I kind of mentioned this really briefly in the videos for 12.4, but let's do some actual examples. Okay, so according to the Department of Health and Education, cholesterol levels are normally distributed. For men between 18 and 24 years, the mean is 178.1 and the standard deviation is 40.7. What percentage of men in this age range have a cholesterol level less than 239.15? I would hope a lot of them do, but let's check. So, first thing we have to do is find a z-score. Okay, so remember from the last section, a z-score is equal to the data item minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. Okay, so our data item, there we go, 239.15. And we're going to subtract the mean, 178.1. We're going to divide it by the standard deviation. Be careful when you're doing this on your calculator because you need to use order of operations. You need to do the numerator first, push equals, divide by the bottom. So we have 9.15 subtract 178.7. We get a z-score of 1.5. So that's just the z-score, okay? So z-score being positive, that means that it's going to be more than the mean, okay? So this is how many standard deviations we are away from the mean. So above the mean because it's positive. Now we need to figure out what percentage of men, okay? So to figure out the percentage, you're going to take your z-score and look it up in the table. Well, I need to find a table. Okay, here's our z-score. Here's our table. Okay, so if you look at the table for 1.5, and this table only has to the nearest 10th, not to the 100th, but that's all right. So z-score of 1.5 gives us a percentile of 93.32. Remember what percentile means. It means that 93.32% of the people data items will be below this 239.15. Okay, so 93.32% of men in this age range have cholesterol less than 239.15, as they should, because that's a really high cholesterol. So, okay, so we found percent below, okay, percent below. We just look at the percentile and there we go. If we need to find between two different items, okay, between two different items, then what we're going to do is convert each data item to a z-score. So we're going to have two different z-scores. We're going to look at the percentile for each z-score, and then we're going to subtract. Okay, so let's suppose I had a percentile of 90% for one of my data items, and then I had a percentile of 50% for my other data item. I would subtract those, and there would be 40% between those two data items. You got to subtract. So let's do an actual example. The amount of time that self-employed Americans work each week is normally distributed with a mean of 44.6 hours and a standard deviation of 14.4. So we want to know percentage between here's the key, between 37.4 and 80.6. So we need our z-score for our 37.4, and we need our z-score for our 80.6, and we have to look up both of those on the table, and then we are going to subtract them. So remember, data item, I put a 9, should be a 7. 37.4, subtract the mean of 44.6 divided by our standard deviation of 14.4. And I should have done these numbers ahead of time. Sorry about that. 37.4 divided by 14.4, negative 0.5 for the first z-score. Remember, negative just means we're below the mean. And 80.6, what was the mean? 44.6. And the standard deviation, 14.4. So 80.6, 44.6, 14.4. This, I don't know if you can see that's a decimal point. So we get 2.5. All right. So then we're going to take these z-scores and we're going to figure out the percentile based on a table that will be given to you. All right. So where's my table? Apparently I don't have a table. Okay. So if we did look at the table, sorry, I don't have the table for you. If we have a z-score of negative 0.5, then the percentile is 30.85, and that means that approximately 30%, 31% work less than 37.4 hours. And then the table for 2.5 is 99.38. So 99.38% of self-employed Americans work fewer than 80.6 hours. But we want to know between. We want to know between. So we're going to take our larger one and we're going to subtract our smaller percentile. So 99.38 minus 30.85. And my nose is itching, sorry. 99.38 minus 30.85. And we get 68.53.